I like that. What is that?
This is something that I found on some royalty-free music site that is designed to provide music for videos, podcasts, stuff like what we're doing.
That's an interesting little tune. Takes me back in the day.
Yeah,
I'm old enough to remember when all songs were like that.
that's right. So over there, reminiscing of the quote good old days, is my pal Big Sexy.
And right over there, playing this music that's taking me back in the good old days, is my pal the Almost Psychic. And this is Big Sexy Digital Nomad.
So yeah, when we get somebody to actually, I don't want to use that music, but I
No.
think that as we play around with different stuff like that, try to get a flavor for the direction that we want to go when we hire somebody to actually come up with something that is ours.
Yeah, we'll have a direction in which to point them.
Yeah.
That brings me up to a good question for you. I got something I want to ask. What is your musical genre of choice?
Man, I am. That's it. It is a pretty wide range of stuff. I mean, my comfort zone.
But please don't tell me you're one of those folks who say, I don't have a favorite band. I don't know.
No. It's not something like that. And it's not going to be that I'm going to go see some band in concert and then be like, you know what? Maybe they're my favorite band. I'm not calling anybody out or anything like that. But we definitely know of an audio guy who didn't have a favorite band for a while and then all of a sudden went and saw Aerosmith in concert and
I realized exactly who his favorite band
I guess Aerosmith's my favorite concert. But Aerosmith's great. That actually got me re-listening to a bunch of Aerosmith, having mentioned that. I was supposed to see them the last time. Was it the last time? In a recent time that I was going to Vegas, I had booked a trip. And I think it was when I was out there for Jeff McBride's masterclass. So at the end of June, and somebody can fact check me on these dates because there'll be some pins that'll make some sense here. But I was staying at an MGM property. I don't remember which, maybe the Grand, but somewhere up there. And then I get these emails every so often. And I'll tell you right now, as far as somebody who's looking to gamble and pick where they're going to gamble, the offers that I get from MGM are far superior to the offers that I get from Caesars. And it used to be the other way around.
Okay.
But I had randomly gotten this email. They're emailing me probably twice a week with, hey, see so-and-so in concert. Hey, see so-and-so in concert. And usually it's stuff that I'm not particularly interested in. I did see Bruno Mars at Dolby Live last December. That was cool.
I wanted to see him live so bad. Those who don't know, again, my complaints department pays, but it does not pay well enough for Bruno Mars tickets. I was really looking forward to going. I had to choose between Bruno Mars or Orlando and going to Disney World.
Yeah.
For my 50th birthday celebration. And there was no way Bruno Mars was going to win out on that. And there was no way that I could do both. I cannot definitely not afford to do both. So I missed out on seeing Bruno Mars. So I'm a little bit jelly of that. I really do want to see him. I love Silk Sonic.
I am going to keep my head on a swivel in these emails, and because I think that they've got him out there at Dolby Live at Park every couple months or something like that. So next time I see one, and really next time anything comes through, I should be screenshotting these and sending them to you and be like, hey, is this something that you'd be interested in? It would unfortunately obligate me to come to Vegas and go with you.
Oh no.
Which would be just a horrible thing. But
oh no.
Yeah, circling back to this, some of the Aerosmith dates are for the original run that was supposed to be, I think, also at Park Dolby Live, coincided with when I was going to be out there. So I forwarded the email back to my host being like, hey, any chance you can drop this into when I'm already going to be out there. Absolutely. Here you go. Boom, done. And then, I don't know, a week or 2 weeks before I'm supposed to be going out is the announcement that Steven Tyler was going to rehab, because I guess when you're at that level, both of fame and fortune and, past, I lived through the 70s, 80s drug abuse, it's almost obligatory after you get any sort of surgery where they give you pain meds or opiates afterwards, that you have to hop into a little stint of rehab to make sure that you don't go off the deep end. So kudos to
Right.
him
Yeah.
for being cognizant and taking care of himself.
Yeah, he's trying to
Unfortunate
be
for
like Keith
me,
Richards.
because they are a band that I would never consider them a favorite band, but I could always listen to pretty much any of their stuff. And would have loved to, had never seen them in concert, would love to have seen them in concert. There's a handful of bands that fit that bill of really, really like this band and either haven't seen them in concert or just recently got to see them in concert. A couple months ago, I saw Rage Against the Machine for the first time, and I feel like I grew up
Nice.
on shit like that. So, anything that was on the radio, popular alternative type of alt rock in through the 90s is probably just a big drop the grenade there and it'll blow up, and any of that probably hits me. But I mean, I listen to, I don't know, wide variety, everything from Jewel to Slayer. Basically not country. That's probably you're not going to get me listening to much of that.
Now, who would you say is your favorite artist,
Um,
or one of your favorite artists?
I would say, I mean, Rage is definitely in consideration. And when you go to see them in concert and when you're gearing up, they're a band that pretty much, as far as I know, any of their albums I could listen to start to finish, and not have to skip around songs, which I think to me is a big factor in, does this band fit that bill of being considered in a
Right.
favorite.
My test is simple. My test is very, very simple. Who's an artist or a band that today, if they dropped an album and you hadn't heard one song on that album yet, would you go buy it without hesitation?
Okay. Yeah, I mean, Rage would be there, although I think they're just, I don't know that they're creating new music, although they
No. But I'm just saying if they
certainly
did.
have, but if they did,
Yeah.
it's they're there. So okay. So I'm gonna give you a band that, if you had asked me this question 10 years ago, would have been the answer to that question, but unequivocally today is not the case, and that's Metallica.
Okay.
That transition, and and here's the thing: everybody's got their own point in time in which people think that a band has just gone wrong and jumped the shark,
Right.
or whatever you want to call it. So for some people, I mean, Metallica's got this, they've been around since I think their
30
first
some
album,
30 years, 40 years.
yeah, 40. 'Cause I think their
40 some years, yeah.
first album dropped in like 80 or 81, and of course they
Right.
existed in shit times
Smaller
before that,
format prior
right?
to that, right.
A lot of people think that the Black Album, the purist will tell you that the Black Album was a jumping off point for them, where they got like super popular and less to their roots. So, the purist will tell you that when that bus rolled over on Cliff Burton, that was it. The late 90s albums, Load and Reload, where they surprised the shit out of everybody and cut their hair, many
Right.
people will tell you that that's when it got to shit. Some people will say them that they're a band that have many points in their career that people can say, no, this is when they got bad, this is when they got bad. Some people will tell you it's when they did all those gigs with the symphony orchestras, which I thought was fantastic. I think it was when Jason Newsted, their second bass player, left the band,
Okay.
because the music just got noisy and not music anymore.
Melodic, right?
Like they had this nice little cut and run. Like they started off as really just like a fucking hair metal band, and I love that shit. I mean, I can listen to Kill 'Em All and you know Ride
Master of
Master
Puppets.
Puppets, Ride the Lightning, all that all day, every day. All of those albums are ones that I mean, I used to be, I don't want to say obsessed, but like I would go to great lengths to find these Japanese imports that would have that were CDs at the time. I know that we're all digital these days, but where they had tracks that like I probably still have some of these CDs where early versions of some of their songs where either they're humming through parts because they haven't, the music is there but the words aren't all there, the lyrics aren't
Right.
all there, or just like I've got early versions of Fuel, which is I know is a popular radio song where the lyrics are totally different, and the arrangement of the music is slightly different. So it was something that I loved, grabbing that stuff and tracking that shit down, which today is wouldn't even be a feat. It's hop onto eBay, hop onto Amazon, hop on some web forum, and hey, I'm selling this, that, or the other, and you could just get your hands on it. Like I had to go and drive states away to different record stores when those were a thing to pick that stuff up.
Yeah, I got into Metallica oddly because that genre of music wasn't my forte at the time that it blew up at the Black Album. The Black Album was my full introduction to Metallica because of a girl. She loved Metallica, and so I tried to get into it to
Yeah,
to feel her vibe and see what she was about. And I was like, "Yeah, all right, now I like the same things you like. Let's figure this out, right?" And then I ended up liking it myself.
I think we've all done that. That's how I got into Radiohead, and I can't remember the girl's name, but I definitely love everything that I have from Radiohead. Radiohead might be a band that if they dropped an album tomorrow, I'd pick it up. Um, I there's a lot of bands out there that there's like a kind of a break between where I feel like you have to listen to the whole album because the radio
Right,
songs are not their best work. They're their most popular work. Like
right,
Incubus is a band like that. Incubus was a band that I didn't really care for, having listened to their radio songs. They were okay and everything like that, but then consequently a girl who was big into Incubus was like, hey, take me to this Incubus concert. And for whatever reason, I was not playing that game of I'm going to listen to this so that I could get closer to you or kind of connect with you. We were already dating. She wanted to go to this concert, and I was like, okay, whatever. And they play all this prog rock and all this stuff that's like, I'm like, damn, this is some shit here. So then having seen them live, started digging into some of their albums, and a lot of their earlier stuff and a lot of the tracks that are not the radio hits are just fucking banging right there. Like, and that surprised me because they were kind of one of those okay, great eye roll bands until I
right.
heard more of their stuff.
Yeah,
But yeah,
I'm not a big Incubus guy. Again, those that they exist in that genre of I recognize the band name, I recognize, and if I heard their radio song, I'd know it. I'd probably be able to sing along. But anything else that they own, I could not uh tell you what it is. I can't say that I've ever put on an Incubus uh song on my Spotify and then just listen to the playlist.
yeah. So this here, and this is vinyl, but this is an album here. It's an earlier album of theirs called Science, and it's like an abbreviation, SCIENCE with periods between it.
Right.
Look for stuff that's got that on your Spotify because now it's all there.
Well,
It
yeah, I'll just
it's some
Incubus.
weird shit, but it's really like their best stuff, in my opinion.
Yeah, I have to check that out. I have to check that out. Yeah, those who know me obviously know my favorite. My number one is Prince. Everybody who knows me knows I'm one of the biggest Prince fans. Uh,
And why not?
and
Because half the fucking pop songs that you've heard on the radio in the 90s were actually written by him.
right, right, and Yeah, amongst all my fellow Prince fans, like if you're listening to me and you know I'm a Prince fan, you're a Prince fan yourself. Shout out to the Prince fam. Um, Shout out to the Bump Squad. Uh, belong to all the different Prince groups and families. So it's funny to watch. It's interesting. I'm a Prince fan, but I'm broke. Uh, it's cool to hang out with Prince fans who got money. Um, uh, because I go, oh yeah, if I had money, this is all the stuff. This is how my place would look. This is how I would have a purple room designated with Prince memorabilia and artwork and posters. But I got limited space, so I got to share that with everything that I love. So, um, but yeah, but like those who know me who aren't Prince fans, I'm the biggest Prince fan you know. um, because I spent so much of my formative years listening. I was a Prince fan before I knew I was a Prince fan. Back way back in the day, back in 1978, Prince released a song called "Soft and Wet," and I, a mere child of 7 years old, heard this song on the radio and oh, that's cool. Soft and wet. And I would sing and I would enjoy it and I loved it. And I had no idea who it was. Uh, and then I Want to Be Your Lover came out from the next album, and self-entitled Prince. And then I'm like, oh. And then by that time he had done American Bandstand and Soul Train. And I'm like, oh, who's that guy? That's the guy I like. And then the first vinyl that I ever purchased uh, got taken away from me because it was Prince Dirty Mind. And no, I'm sorry, that was the second piece of vinyl I ever bought. The first vinyl I ever bought was Rapper's Delight,
Okay.
Sugar Hill Gang. But that was a single, that was a 12-inch single. The first album that I bought was Prince's Dirty Mind. And for those who know, that is not an album for children. But I had listened to, so I had listened and then I take it back. I knew where my father stashed it, so I would pull it out and again, listen again. And then we had one of those big ass stereo units so that could dub onto cassette. So I took it once and then I recorded and I dubbed it on cassette. So then I always had it. And then I didn't have to try to go find the album and worry about sneaking it out. I just had it on a radio would play it from time to time. But that was a very interesting time in my life because I, at the time, that on the album, there's a song called "Sister," where he's talking about having sex with his sister. And at the time, I was engaging in intimate relations with the girl who was going to be my stepsister.
Mm.
My father was dating her mother, and they were talking about getting married. But we were kids experimenting with each other's bodies, and at the same time, I'm listening to the song, so I'm freaking out. Like, how does Prince know me? And why is he talking my life? And this is amazing. And of course, in my young ass, dumb ass brain, I'm thinking, well, if it's okay for Prince, I guess it must be all right. Ooh, man, that's the thing. But yeah, so that's my so Prince is my number one. If they release another Prince album, no matter what it is, I'll pick it up instantly. Eminem is my other one.
Okay.
Eminem is another one. If he drops an album, I don't have to hear one single track off it. I will be buying that album. Eminem is
Oh,
my number two favorite artist of all time.
yeah, that's that era, that him, and not I'm fine with Eminem, but kind of connecting the dots to Dre
Right.
and Snoop and everything like that. Like the most recent Super Bowl halftime show, like
Oh, that was
I was
amazing.
eating that shit up. Like that
Yeah.
was right in that era of stuff that I used to listen to that stuff all the time. Um, now my affinity with Snoop is just continuing to mention to my mother-in-law that he very well may be banging Martha Stewart.
Yeah.
And
which I find hilarious. Yeah, if back in the day when Snoop was coming out, if you told me, yeah, this dude right here, he's
yeah.
gonna partner up with Martha Stewart, you might have got shot saying some shit like that. Yeah. Now he's well, Snoop's an old man. You know, I mean, he's an old man. We're old men. You know, he's been in the game a long time. And that, have you tried his? Have you seen his cereal?
The cereal, no. The wine
Yeah.
that he has through what is it, 19 Crimes. I've had that a couple times. And then, not oddly enough, when you connect the dots and know what's going on behind the scenes, Martha now has a Chardonnay through 19 Crimes. So we've tried that. The Snoops wine is better than Martha's. I'm not a big
Yeah,
wine guy, but um yeah, the Snoops is pretty good.
he has one called Snoop Loops. Snoop
Interesting.
Loops. Breakfast cereal called Snoop Loops. And I'm like, oh, I want to try them just to say that I did it. You know. I don't know if I'm gonna like them, but I definitely want to try them once they hit the market. Um uh there's something else he's doing right now, and I can't recall what uh else he's getting involved in, but he's in the marketing side now. As cannabis becomes more and more mainstream, it's funny to because Snoop is Snoop and Willie Nelson are the two people you really think of when you think weed.
Yeah, especially when there's a meme that gets floating around.
Right. So it's hilarious that with the popularization of the cannabis and the weedy smokies, how widespread Snoop is. The second leg of Snoop's career is coming into fruition and coming about, which is great, which is hilarious to see because I remember a young ass Snoop the first time he dropped on a Dre track. I was there. I heard it. I listened. Like, oh, who's this kid? Oh man, he's dope on the mic. Oh, I like the way yeah, I was there. I bought Dog Pound. I was in the clubs and the roller rinks rolling around when that stuff first released. I remember when he left Death Row and went to No Limit Records and joined Master P, and I'm oh no, oh no, and maybe that'll get me listening to Master P stuff, and it didn't. No, it didn't. Not at all. And then finally came back. I'm okay. Welcome back home. That's where you belong in this West Coast field. But growing up in California, that was my scene, right? That was the West Coast hip hop was my scene. I was big on all that, all of them. I'm a big hip hop head. I'm a rap head. As a matter of fact, listeners, chime in. Who's your favorite artist based on the criteria that we laid down? Who could drop an album that you would pick up if you hadn't heard one song off it, or who, if they drop an album, you will listen to the entire thing, and at the most skip maybe two tracks after you've heard the whole album 3 to 4 times. So chime in. Hit us up on the socials with Big Sexy Nomad on Twitter and Instagram.
Or the other thing you can do, and this is going to be a segment that by the time this bank episode drops might not be new, but who knows? I'm not a fortune teller. I just pretend to be one on stage sometimes. We have the external monologue feature that is coming. So if you go to prankcall.me, it's not really designed for you to prank call us, so to speak, but we wanted a web domain that would go straight to this feature. It was easy to remember. You can tell us about your favorite artist, favorite album, favorite song, and have it sampling in the background while you're telling us. You don't need a phone, just an internet connection to hop on there. It's absolutely free. So prankcall.me. And as long as they are not completely ridiculous, we'll put the best ones on future episodes, or maybe some past episodes, depending on when this drops.
Depending on when you hear this, right? Yes, absolutely. I look forward to hearing from y'all. We'll have very fun, interesting segments. Yeah. We should. Production meeting.
Oh yeah.
We should think about. I like the idea of breaking some of this up in segments. once we get really, really going and have, okay, this is this segment, this is six, because that really seems to work. As I listen to other podcasts, um, each have their own different segments and time frames and things along that line. So you're not just haphazardly walking through the space of recorded sound, making up topics of discussion, what have you. I like
Yeah.
that idea.
Yeah. And it's always fun as far as specifically the external monologue idea, to have some input from those who are listening to us, be part of the show, and why not do it in an audio format? Because this is an audio format. So,
Right. We do
you know,
have listeners, by the way.
yeah,
Our first episode has dropped recently since as of this recording, and people have told me they have listened.
yeah. I mean, I've got stats that back it up. So,
Ooh,
that's cool. That's exciting.
yeah,
Again,
that's really crazy to hear.
I would
It's mind blowing.
imagine that I'm not going to throw the numbers out there, but it's definitely in the double digits, not in the triple digits.
Okay, okay,
And
that's a
I
start.
suspect, though, that by the time that this actual episode drops, because we're talking about episode 1 and then that little 5-minute teaser that we did, that, the numbers that are currently out there as of the time that we're recording, not the time that we're dropping this, are probably going to be embarrassingly low by the time that this actually drops, which is great. Thank you all for tuning in. Thank you all for sticking with this. And again,
Appreciate you very much.
this is probably an episode that's going to be out of kind of the format as we start to put things together and develop the format. This one being a bank episode, we don't know exactly when it's going to drop. So there's a good possibility that you're hearing this one and you're like, wait. Where's this segment? Where's that segment? Well, those segments don't exist yet. So, also, for us to connect with you, it's important for us to be able to have content consistently. And with the premise of what this podcast is, Big Sexy eventually being on the road to other parts of the world, and me being
The digital nomad part of this.
a regular
Yeah.
traveler, we know that there will be times in which, whether schedules don't cooperate or technology doesn't cooperate or whatever it is, that we're putting stuff together like this episode to drop in there when shit goes sideways.
Right. That part.
So
So
yeah.
Awesome sauce. I look forward to hearing from y'all. Now, as I'm tooling around here, I'm looking for notepad, pen and paper, because we can get into this. I have an issue with the complaints department. Some The company that I work for has merged with a larger company, and in doing so, have become more restrictive in what I can do on their computer. Which sucks because when work is slow, I would often entertain myself, whether it be via solitaire or YouTube video or Wordle or the New York Times mini crossword puzzle. But now all of that is blocked. I can't even check my personal email on my work computer because they have that Google blocked.
Wow.
Which is, I think, is oversight that's ridiculous and dumb, especially if I'm working from home. Right, as long as the work is getting done and everything is happening and there's no whatever, I don't think you need that level of oversight.
I guess
Uh,
I guess the question that I would have is, and don't reveal anything that you think is off limits to reveal here, but
of course,
are you dealing with, from that computer, your work computer, where you are accessing customer information or even software with a database or something proprietary to
yes.
that
So
company?
so I do have to work under HIPAA guidelines.
Okay.
Um,
So that's
right.
probably a big reason for it.
Oh, I'm sure. I understand it to a point, right? But I also have to take some of the safety training, and and follow these other guidelines. And I've been, when you're used to uh, a way of being prior to this, and then it changes and gets more restrictive, and changes and gets more restrictive, and changes and gets more restrictive. You're like, well, it was fine all those other previous years. There were no breaches, no glitches, no hiccups, no mess ups, right? Like, uh simple things like give us access to things that don't have proprietary who don't have the other those software, whatever that you unsafe of, worried about, whatever. Give us a music platform that we can play music off of. Give us a site for solitaire. Put solitaire on the computer, right? Give us
Yeah.
something so we're not mind-numbingly just looking at a screen, dealing with these numbers and company business and all these company articles that you think are interesting and they're not. They're not interesting.
Hey, they are
I don't
interesting enough
care.
to somebody.
I don't care. I'm definitely not that somebody. I'm definitely not that somebody. So I do spend a lot of time on my phone. Right, in between, which that's what they're gonna have to do. It just sucks because I'm now handicapped on what I can do outside of the work that I finished, before my first break. And then I'm just sitting there waiting for phone calls to come in, and I get maybe right now 6 to 8 calls a day. So it's an average of about a call an hour, and the calls last maybe 5 minutes, maybe 10 if it's a really difficult problem.
And what kind
30
of
if 30 if shit's shut down.
what kind of stuff? And again, I'm not trying to breach any confidentiality or anything here, but in general, what sort of company? You mentioned HIPAA, so is this a medical company? Is this
Yeah,
okay?
I work for a company that basically I do tech support for weight loss program.
Okay. So who's
Yeah, that
calling? Is it an end user? Is it a
it's
company?
old people who don't know how to work technology
Gotcha.
are calling me to tell them how to download apps, how to log in, where to find their password. Every now and then somebody will call me to see if they're eligible for this program because their sister has it and they don't work at the same place as their sister. Uh, every now and then people will call me to get out of the program because you have to call us in order to disenroll, right? So we get a lot of those. Part of the program, we send a free box of stuff. So a lot of times people call, where's my box of stuff? And we got to tell them where's their box of stuff. But so it's a lot of those kind of maintenance calls. Very, very rarely is it anything interesting. I make it interesting because I found the best way to personalize phone calls, which is what they strive for us to do, is to be curious
Yeah.
about the person. And so if they have a birth month that is close by to where we are, I usually give it 3 month before or 3 month after window. So like a 6 month range. I will either say happy early birthday or happy belated birthday to that person. And then I have to get their zip codes wherever in the world they are. I usually ask what's the weather like in their world, how are things out in their world. If there's news from that area of the world, I will inquire if they do you know anybody who's involved in that, stuff like that. On the positive side of it, you can't go to the negative side. I understand.
Yeah.
Bosses, if you're listening, I don't go to the negative side. Go to the positive side of the questionnaire. Thank you. Yeah. So,
I mean, that's fun. You get to talk to, as long as they're not belligerent, you get to talk to people from all over the world.
And sometimes they are, but it's also hard to really talk to people who are confused, because they're calling to try to get something fixed, and I'm trying to help them. What's hilarious are people who call to complain. That's what I call it, the complaints department. Like, and the kicker is our program is free. It's covered 100% by your insurance.
Interesting.
So you're calling and bitching about a free program. Get the fuck out of here. those people drive me nuts. Those people are insane. Or when they look at their explanation of benefits and they see the claims for the program on there, those people, I thought this was free. How much did you pay for it? What came out of your pocket? Not a damn cent. Not a damn cent. Not a damn cent. Not a damn cent came out of your pocket.
I will tell you right now, people seem to complain more about things that they get for free than things that they're actually paying for.
True. That is true. That is true. You know what that does? That breeds entitlement.
Yeah.
If I'm getting this for free, that means I'm entitled to it, which means you owe it to me. Nah, bitch. Nah, we don't owe this to you. Nah, you're getting this as a service. Sorry. And while you were told this, shit changes. Yeah, at one point in time, members had access. Once even after they completed the program, they still have access. And once the merger happened, the access got limited to have to be enrolled in the program, or at least be eligible for it. Oh, the backlash we got. Oh, the people screaming and crying that they told me I'd have this for life. You lied to me. Didn't nobody tell you had this for life? They said you have the life of the program. Well, the program changed. And okay, what you gonna do? You gonna sue? What you gonna sue for? How much money you gonna get out of this? How much money did you put into it? Oh, that's right, nothing.
Future
Guess what you're gonna get?
refunds, keep going.
Guess what you're gonna get back? I'm gonna give you just as much as you put into it. Yeah, that is one aspect why I started to work for the complaints department, was because there is no money transaction. You know, I used to work for the Stratosphere back in the day, and now that I no longer work for them, I'm happy to say who they are. In the reservation department, right? So again, I'm dealing with people's credit cards and their money, and they want refunds and stuff like that. So I get it. I was never a fan of handling people's money, because people get real serious about their money. You know, and once I heard that this company doesn't do that, it's free. You know, with an eligible policy. That's beautiful. I don't have to sell nothing. I got to encourage enrollment, but I can encourage enrollment into a free program because I give a fuck if you take it or not.
Right.
You know, it's like, you want this? It's free. No, next. keep it moving. Keep it moving. Yeah. So I've been dealing with that. I scheduled the FedEx. They're gonna come pick up the all-in-one computer that I had before today. I'm now on the company laptop, which my desk now looks weird because it's empty-ish. Yeah, and all this while I'm, still prepping for the move. We have a big garage sale coming up at the time of this recording this weekend. I'm pretty sure this one I dropped by then. So if you're hearing this, I'm sorry it's already passed. But keep an eye open on my socials, because anything, of course, we don't sell, we were selling eventually. And so if you're looking for anything, or you want some big sexy memorabilia, or just you want to get a little bit closer to Big Sexy by owning some of his stuff, hit me up on the socials, and I'll gladly let you know what we're getting rid of, and you can get a little bit of Big Sexy for yourself.
Yeah.
How's your week been, my friend?
It's been kind of crazy all over the place. I too am getting ready for a move, a different kind of move. So at the time of,
that's right, you got a house.
Yeah, two, about to be one, but
well, yeah, but you bought another house.
Yeah. So getting all that stuff in place, and then turning around and hopping on a plane to go to Vegas for close to a week. Yeah, it's time. It'll be nice when that's over. It'll be nice when everything is where it belongs. And
do you have your Vegas dates?
Yeah, I'll be out there November 9th through the 14th. I get in, I don't know, 4:30ish in the afternoon on the 9th. And my plans don't really start till the evening of the 10th. And then Yeah, all day the 11th, 12th, 13th. Nights are open.
Cool. We'll definitely have to do a recording
For
or
sure, for
two while
sure.
you're out here.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So yeah, not a super long trip, but enough for
To
my
get
needs.
involved, get in some shenanigans,
Hell yeah. Hell
get
yeah.
involved in some things, and do some things with some things and some folks.
Oh yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
What are you looking? What are you most looking forward to when you come out?
I mean, other than obviously I'm coming out for like a mini masterclass with Jeff McBride and some folks, specifically in the mentalism mind reading realms. But outside of that, I want to see the Big Apple show with Harrison Greenbaum. I have not seen that yet at the Mad Apple at
Let's do that
okay.
because we want to see Matt Apple as well.
Yeah.
So let's map that out. Another production meeting.
Oh yeah.
We yeah, we should definitely um traverse that and make arrangements and go see that together.
Okay.
Because that would be really cool to see Matt Apple and then the next day record and talk about the experience.
Yeah. Yeah, we could do that.
I'm down for that.
The other
Yeah, yeah.
thing that has been out there that I have not hit, oh gosh, I'm blanking on it. It's downtown. Misbehaves
Uh,
new thing. I mean, it's like
uh,
4 months old now, but
yeah, yeah. So that's the thing that's called down there by
cheap shot, cheap
Neonopolis.
shot,
Yeah,
cheap
cheap
shot,
shot,
cheap
cheap
shot
shot, DTLV. Yeah,
downtown.
cheap shot.
So I want to see that, and I probably won't do on this trip. I want to hit Lost Spirits Distillery out in what is that, Area 15?
Area 15.
Yeah. So those are like the three Vegas items that are on my in my radar to do next. And I'll probably hopefully get two of those three done on this trip.
Gotcha.
Yeah, it's funny because I saw the tickets were comped and I had no idea what I was going into. I want to say it was like 4 years ago when Misbehave had this game show thing at Bally's. I don't know
Oh,
if you
I
ever
heard about that. I
saw
remember
it.
that. Yes. How
And
was it?
it was wild. And it was kind of over the top. All these props were made out of fucking cardboard.
Huh.
And it was a fucking time. And it's funny because I don't know what number this was, but like during the show, because this was supposed to be like this interactive game show. So, but it was like super over the top and super comical. And it
Right.
was like, they'd just like call out people in the crowd and be like, you get up and dance like this now, or you tell me your boom, something to, name this, that, or the like you put me on the spot, so to speak, for a favorite band or something like that. There was a segment in there where they had you text ridiculous shit to some phone number and then they'd read them up on, somehow it fed through like an iPad or something like that.
Right.
I saved that number, I don't know whose number it is, in my phone. And what I would do for like months after seeing that show is that I would just, if it were near, if a meme would come to me and it was near the time of day in which I thought that show might be going, I'd just text fucking memes to that number. I don't know if somebody still has that number. I don't know if that was something internal that was just set up for the show. For all I know, in the way that a
Most
lot of
likely it
these
was
shows
internal setup
run,
for the show.
could have been, but it could have just been somebody's fucking cell phone number. So
Well, yeah, usually that's it. Usually somebody's cell phone number and they're, some kind of production person or um PA on the show, and then they route that to whatever.
yeah, so I've heard great
Uh,
things about the Cheap Shot show downtown, and I definitely want to go see that. Um, and obviously, if you don't know about Harrison Greenbaum, you're missing out.
yeah. Shout out to Harrison Greenbaum, friend of the podcast. He doesn't know it yet, but he is. Um, because he's a cool dude. We've met, we've hung out before. He's hilarious. He's one of the funniest folks have had the pleasure of hanging out with and chatting with. And he got the gig uh, at Matt Apple. Hopefully, we eventually get him on the podcast once we get bigger.
Yeah.
I would love to talk to him about his journey from New York to New York, New York.
Yeah, for sure. It's funny because at Scoop Fest, Matt introduced me to him backstage after his performance. And, because I was booking shows here in Elkton, Maryland for a time being, that's currently in a hiatus. Probably by the time this episode airs, it'll be back on and going. But Matt was like trying to link me up to get him booked here in Elkton. And then before anything, before that conversation even started or before it left that room, so to speak, he's now this big time Vegas headliner. So although
Absolutely.
Everything I hear is that when they go on a break and he goes back, all he wants to do is still book shows. And he's doing open.
He's a workaholic.
Yeah, and he's doing open
insane.
mics all around town and everything like that. So props to a man that's going to work harder than the two of us combined. No offense.
Got that right.
But hell yeah.
Heck, you can clone you and I a few times over, and he's still working harder than all of us. But I'm not mad at it. Somebody got to do it.
Not at all. And there was a time where I lived that grind in my world, and
but he loves it. He loves it.
I've kind of toned down from that in the past couple of years. I think the pandemic sort of ruined me and in that nature. But hey, it is what it is.
Well, I do feel apropos since this is called Big Sexy Digital Nomad to kind of give you a brief update.
Yeah.
On just where, as of this recording, I am in that process. I kind of mentioned it before, but we're in the process of selling shit. Like, and it's downsizing, getting rid of everything. And it's funny to look at stuff going, oh, I'm not taking you with me. You need to go away. I need to either sell you or donate you or gift you, but somehow all this stuff is going. I'm looking at my bed going, okay, I need my bed for until we move, but that's, I'm probably going to pre-sell my bed, but like, yeah, it's sold, but you don't get it until January. I have a giant cat tree that we got for free because a friend of ours' sister moved to London and she wasn't going to take this giant cat tree with her. So we got it. Now that we're leaving the country, I hit up my friend like, hey, what do you want to do with this cat tree? She goes, I'll find it another good home. And I said, okay. And so it's going to pay it forward and it's going to move to be with another good home at some point in time once we leave in January. So it's a lot of doing that. I decided I'm taking my gaming system. Like, I'm getting ready to sell my gaming systems. Like, I have a PS1, I have a PS2 and a PS3 and a PS4. And I'm going to sell or get rid of the PS2 because, again, the PS3 is backward compatible. I had to make sure of that. And my wife really has like two PS2 games she absolutely loves. And I figured once we go to this other country, I need to be able to have some entertainment as I'm not just sitting there twiddling my thumbs trying to figure stuff out. As I'm learning, Wi-Fi and internet and stuff like that. At least have my game system so I can dive back into that. So putting that into a suitcase and going, okay, this is packed. I'm ready to go. But the cool thing is we have plans. Things are booked. Definitive travel plans have been made. And it's very exciting. Very exciting. We got the wife and I have a video that's about to drop, a YouTube video on our social medias.
Ooh.
So by the time you hear this podcast, you would have already seen this video if you're following me on the social medias. But just talking about what's upcoming, where we're at in the planning and stuff like that. So it'll be fun. If you saw it already, I'm sure you're laughing at this because you know how ridiculous we are. My wife is equally ridiculous. Well, no, not equally ridiculous. I love you, babe, but you're not equally ridiculous. And she knows that. She married somebody who is absolutely 100% stupid and crazy ridiculous and wild and silly. I live in that world. If you know me, then you know. If you know, you know. And could be random, but we also like to have fun and laugh and stuff like that. So we're going to drop that video sometime shortly here as of this recording.
So yeah, Let's wrap it up for now, but everybody hit us up. Give us your
Yeah, that's a good place. That's the quick update about Big Sexy Digital Nomad. So as you like we say all the time, hit us up on the socials at bigsexynomad.com. Uh, you also go to at Big Sexy Nomad on Twitter, on the Instagrams.
or give us that external monologue at
And
prankcall.me.
yep, you can hit us individually. You can find me at Who Is Big Sexy.
And I am at psychic-ish on Instagram and the Twitter.
And until next time, this has been Big Sexy Digital Moment. No, let's try that again. Rewind. And thank you. This has been Big Sexy Digital Nomad.
Thanks for stopping by.
Bye now. Take care. Have a good one. See you soon. Love you now.